So here we are. Hello everyone. So what I'm going to go over today is we've been shopping for an RV for our family. And I've looked at more floor plans than I probably ever care to see again. Most of you can relate to that. It's a big deal. And when you start looking at floor plans, it's a rabbit hole that a lot of people get lost in. And today I'm going to talk about what we found and why we chose what we chose. And I'm going to kind of go over how I narrowed it down. So right here, what you're seeing is the East to West Delaterra, which is a newer line from the Forest River brand. And it's a lower end line. It's like a introductory RV, if you would. It's got a great price point. If you're just trying to get in, it's a perfect place to go. And so let me show you what I was looking at. This is the first floor plan I really fell in love with because I loved this opposing slides on this side for the bunkhouse. This just makes for a wonderfully big area for the children. And at the back, having the double ward and all the storage you get with that is pretty fantastic. And then it has the optional outside kitchen. So if you don't get the kitchen, what you get is a storage area on the outside, which was pretty nice. So I really like this. I stopped by and looked at one. And it's a lower end build, but it wasn't bad. My issue came from this area, and I will explain that as we move forward. But I absolutely love the king bed. I love this back bunk area. It's just hard to beat these two options. I really liked it. Now, of course, this is a RV king. It is not a true king, but it's definitely got more size than a queen. It's just, as you know, with a RV, you're automatically going to be changing out that mattress. And you can find some fairly decent options for an RV king, but your choices are limited. So moving on, we ended up going away from this option. We definitely wanted something a little nicer, something that would last a little longer. And obviously, like I was saying, this center area, the living space floor plan, is the deal breaker on this one. The next one I'm going to bring up is it's another Forest River product, the Heritage Glen 310bhi. Now this floor plan is pretty fantastic. It really is. I have a hard time saying no to a floor plan like this. It is a very nice setup. There was just a couple things that threw it off, but I will go through the positives on this. The bunk room is great. It has a bunk on this side in the slide, and then the bunk here above the outdoor kitchen. And on the back side of that outdoor kitchen right here, there's storage. The amount of storage in this particular RV is pretty phenomenal. It's hard to argue with. It has this hutch here off the living room side, and then it has this huge walk-in pantry. They call it chef-sized. So the shelves are in the back, and you can actually walk into this area. So it'd be a great place to keep, your vacuum and stuff like that. It's on a swing door, so you get this little kind of micro slide for the kitchen. It's not a full depth slide, and it's not super long, but it is nice because it gives you this opposing living area. So you get the island, which is, everybody loves an island. Just that extra counter space. It's nice to have. So, and what they did is they put the TV right here at like an angle off of this room to gain that pantry area. And what that does is it makes this really close and at a bit of an angle, but still not bad because I sat over here and you could see the TV pretty well. So it's a pretty decent design. Then you go back in, the bathroom is nice and normal. And then you go in standard wards, storage up above, but it has this washer and dryer prep, and I think this is probably the shining light of this RV because it is actually a stackable. There's room for a stackable. It's washer and dryer prepped, room for a stackable, which is hands down in a travel trailer is pretty impressive. Now, I haven't addressed the other part of this yet, so I'll just go into it now. We were trying to figure out if we want to do fifth wheel or travel trailer, and I kind of won out on this one because fifth wheels are wonderful, a lot more space and all that, but you lose the bed of the truck. And why that's important to me is I want to be able to carry our items such as a motorcycle, bicycles, just extra storage space from the bed of that truck. So it became kind of a deal breaker. So I wanted to see if we could find a travel trailer that would work, and I came down to 3 options after looking through hundreds of floor plans. And those 3 options are what I'm showing you now. Now, the Delaterra is not one of the 3 options. I just had it up to show you this opposing slides and to be able to explain this area. So to get to that, if you notice here, you have your dinette and your seating right here on the door side. We call that camp side. So on the back side, you'd have your kitchen. Now, why that's so important, this right here, if you notice here, the kitchen is on the campsite and the living is on the back side. So you get to see your neighbors over here when you pull into a campsite, and you cannot see your children. And that, I mean, there's a little window here, but it's not like you get with this idea here, where you have all these windows. You have a window here, 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 and here. So you can see your full camp, which is very nice. So if the children are out here playing or hanging out at the picnic table and we're inside, we can see them, and takes down a lot of stress. So that was the deal breaker on this one, and this one's not specific. There are so many different floor plans with this exact layout, and it just wasn't working for me. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one. I just wanted to be able to show that and explain it to you. I have this open also for a reason. Okay, so with this floor plan, we really liked it. I mean, there's a lot about it that it's wonderful. You know, this hutch, this big pantry, the washer and dryer prep, it's pretty good. Now, this is one of the 3 that we had it narrowed down to. The next one is, of course, a Grand Design, which is hard to beat. Everybody knows it's hard to beat a Grand Design. Wonderful build quality, customer service to the max. They do a great job of taking care of their customers. So this has that same design with the seating and everything on the campsite, so you can see out the windows. It has the same 4 windows, which is nice. And then this slide over here, compared to the Heritage Glen, is just a little bigger, which is nice, so you get a little bit more. And what they did is right here they put the TV directly opposing the seating, which is nice. It's really nice. The issue is, here's your microwave and here's your stove. So it's literally right next to the stovetop in the kitchen. And that was my least favorite part of it. Other than that, this thing is pretty fantastic. So you come here and you have this with the island. You have decent floor space here. Standard bathroom. This is a hutch and this is a hutch. So those are both nice. And then in here you have, of course, the bunk slide. And on this side, same as the other, you have the bunk up above, outdoor kitchen, and on the back side of that outdoor kitchen you have your storage. So this seems to be pretty standard. Across these 3 models, this is standard, and all 3 of them have this option, campside viewing. Now this one has, you go back in, and it has washer and dryer prep here. The only issue with that washer and dryer prep is it's for a combo unit. It's a washer and dryer combo. And not a huge fan, so it's probably something we would never do anyways. So that's kind of the gist of that one. Now the third option is made by, it's a Keystone product. It's called the Outback 340BH. Now this floor plan is interesting because what you gain is this massive area here, floor space wise. And how they did that was you have the storage here, but it's not walk-in like the Heritage Glen. Now, I will say that the Heritage Glen is the one I pulled up, but it's not specific. The 310bhi you can get as the Heritage Glen, or you can get it as the Salem Hemisphere. Same floor plan, same pretty much everything, just different product from Forest River. So they make it in the Wildwood and they make it in the Salem. But I digress. Going back over here. So the Keystone, you see they have the TV here directly opposing like the Grand Design does, which is nice. It really is nice. Oops. But what we did here, what they did is across, it's next to the microwave and the stove over here, but it says pop-up TV. So basically it goes down behind the fireplace on a motor, and this becomes a flush counter area with a window there. So when you bring up the TV, it blocks the window and knocks out the counter space. But when you want the counter space, you can lower that TV down and have a solid counter all the way across, which is really nice. There is a gap around it when you close it down, so if you wanted to keep stuff out of there, you'd have to roll something out or have something that goes across there if you're going to be doing things with your countertop that might spill or anything like that to protect the electronics. But other than that, I thought that was a really slick option. And it created, so they have this island over here closer to the bunkhouse, which created this huge open area. And when you're in it, it's really nice. Like this area, see if you look, I'm going to switch between the others, so pay attention to this area. Go to the Grand Design, pretty small. Go to the 310, non-existent. So that was a great selling point on the 340 was this right here, the pop-up TV. Standard, you got your slide, got your bed, outdoor kitchen, storage in front. This has a pantry here also, so they both have a pantry / hutch here, and they both have something. All three of them have this pantry / hutch, and on this side they all have something. This one has storage. Grand Design has a hutch with a nice little counter there for coffee maker and what have you. It's very nice. And then the Heritage Glen has this huge walk-in pantry. Okay, back to the Outback. So around here, this is a cute little gimmick they put in, the built-in pet kennel. All it is in the underbred storage that all three of them have, they simply just put in a little door. It's a gated door. And so you could keep your small pet under there. Obviously, it's not going to work for us. We have a Great Dane. She's not going to fit. But other than that, what this one is lacking compared to the others is no washer and dryer prep at all. Now, you could, if you really wanted, you could probably do it here because you have all your plumbing, but you'd lose that storage. So there's just, it's simple, no washer and dryer prep. Where Heritage Glen has the stackable, Grand Design has the one you could do the combo unit. The Outback 340 does not have it. So each of them have their strengths, as with anything. And as everybody knows, everybody talks about, there is no perfect floor plan. If you spend all your time trying to find the perfect floor plan, you will never find the RV you want, because it just doesn't exist unless you go ahead and purchase the manufacturer and design your own. This is pretty much how it is. You go with what you can, you find the ones you like, and you start comparing them side by side. So that's what we did. Now, cost-wise, from low to high, you'd have the Heritage Glen. Next step up would be the Outback, and Grand Design, true to their name, would be the top of it. Now, the swing from Heritage Glen to Outback is substantial. It's probably about a $10,000 swing, somewhere in there. And then from Outback to Grand Design, it's a much smaller swing. You'd probably be about a $5,000 to $6,000 difference if you option them the same. And when I say option them the same, I mean, number of AC units and what have you. So anyways, that's pretty much the gist of that. I've been rambling now for 15 minutes. So I guess I should get to the point. As we kept looking, there were things we didn't like. Now, Grand Design and Outback all offer one thing that we really liked that the Heritage Glen does not, and that is this full wraparound front cap. See, it comes all the way around the side here, which is really nice. Driving down the road, that water is going to whisk around and go. Too many times in my life have I had a seal kind of go bad on the edge, and it just causes problems. So I thought that was a really nice addition. The Outback does it, so does Grand Design. Grand Design's reflection comes all the way around. They're both fantastic options for that, and I really appreciate it. Now, Heritage Glen's does not do a full wraparound, but they did do something else nice in the front. This black area is actually a window. It's a automotive grade windshield that is at the head of the bed, and I thought that was really neat. But this they call it a wraparound, but it comes around, pretty much right to the edge, and it's not a solid piece. For the rock guard down here, this is like a diamond plate kind of rock guard, and there's a seam here, and I don't know why they did that. For the life of me, I can't wrap my head around it. And if you notice right here, we got 20-pound propane tanks. Easy upgrade, yes, I know. Seems a little petty, but it matters. So, 20-pound on a 40-foot rig doesn't make sense. And none of these are actually 40. We're going from 38 to 39 here. 37 to 39 on these 3 units. So, another thing that Heritage Glen didn't do is down here you can see the dump valves. It's all 3 of them are enclosed with your tanks up inside, which is wonderful for 4 seasons. But these guys, for some reason, they do a fully enclosed underbelly, and then they drop the valves down below the underbelly. So that right there that you can see, that's actually the dump valves for your gray and black water tanks. And so you're going to have water down against that. Your gray water or black water, you're going to have it down against that valve. So in the winter, and it's nice and cold, that is going to freeze. There is no way around it. It's going to freeze. Now, you could insulate it yourself and heat it and all that good stuff. But nonetheless, I don't know why they did it. Little things like that. Little things like this front cap. Little things like that. And I started realizing, and I hate to say this out loud, but I'm going to, realizing that I'm looking at a Forest River product. And nothing against Forest River. They build a decent RV, and they build a lot of them. They have, I don't know how many brands. There are so many Forest River products. And this one that we're looking at is obviously a Wildwood brand. And then you have Salem and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a deep rabbit hole to go down when you start looking at Forest River products. If nobody understands what I'm talking about there, if you're new to the RV industry, and you're familiar with the car industry, you could compare Forest River to GM, where GM has all their names underneath them. So they have Chevy, GMC, Cadillac, so on and so forth. That's the same thing that Forest River does. Forest River would be the GM, and then down below that you would have Wildwood would be your Chevy, Salem would be your GMC, and so on and so forth. So Forest River turns out a lot of product. They make a decent RV. My parents actually have a Forest River product fifth wheel, and it's great. It's a really nice unit. There are just little things about it that kind of were a deal breaker for me. So as you can tell, the Heritage Glen is out, or the Salem Hemisphere. So that narrowed it down. I'm going to go ahead and close these. Bye-bye washer and dryer prep and massive pantry, but we don't love you. This floor plan didn't work either. Okay, so now we're down to your Grand Design and your Outback. So I can close this. So I absolutely love Grand Design. They're just such a great company. I can't speak highly enough about them. And you're not hearing anything new from me here. Everybody understands this. They just do a great job of standing by their product. So when we started comparing the two, that was definitely something to keep in mind. But you do pay for it. You're going to pay a little bit more. But Keystone also makes a pretty decent product. Not nowhere near Grand Design, but they do make a good product, and they they do well. They're definitely suited towards the full-time living section of RVing. You know, there's so my wife's parents' father, he has a Keystone product. He has a Montana, and if you're familiar with the Montana line, it's a great fifth wheel product. Beautiful, well built, definitely geared towards full-time living. So the build quality is there. They do a good job. And these Outbacks are nice. They're pretty, they're comfortable inside, they're beautiful inside actually. Let me show you a couple things that my wife really liked here. If you've never done these 3D tours, they're really neat. This looks a little funny on my computer. It's kind of widescreen. But so here's what I was talking about with that TV that comes up. See right here, it's kind of funny because it isn't flush. So for some reason for this, I think they left it up so you can see where the TV is, but it actually does go down flush with the counter. But the storage area, they put a barn door in front of it, which I thought was really slick, and my wife absolutely loved it. But, you know, the trim and everything in these is just, it's pretty. That's all there is to it. It's a very, very nice product. So we really liked that area. Now, if you go to the Grand Design, so there's that kind of coffee bar area I was talking about. Now, the other thing Grand Design has going for them is this double-sided fridge. What a fantastic idea. But here's the TV I was talking about. So you got this counter space, but you have your TV there. And I wasn't a huge fan of that. It wasn't a deal breaker. I don't know what they were thinking. But, you know, RVs are small, so you got to make it work. But these are nice products. You know, this storage over here is really nice, and you go back into your bunk room. Now, this is a pocket door. You know, it just comes out of the wall and slides across, which is not bad. So, as we kept going, we realized something, that we're down to these two, and the washer and dryer, we're not going to do a combo unit. It's just not going to happen. So now the washer and dryer benefit of this is kind of gone. Whereas, you know, the 310bhi had that stackable, and we would definitely do a stackable. So when we're comparing the Grand Design and the Outback, we kind of take the washer and dryer out of the equation because we're just not going to do a combo unit. So then we started looking at just floor space. We do have a Great Dane and we do have 2 children. We need to worry about that. And this area is fantastic. There is no way around it. So when you go down to the 3D tour, you find a different spot. You just click on these circles. See if I can get somewhere where it kind of shows that off. Nope, nowhere I can go. But you can kind of get an idea of how much space is here. It's nice. I mean, it was definitely a good selling point. So this was definitely a win on the Outback side compared to the Grand Design. The washer and dryer is already out. We already discussed that. The storage is nice in the Outback. This storage area is nice compared to this hutch. The hutch is okay. The little coffee bar is nice, but the storage is better. So that's 2 up for the Outback. Where Grand Design still comes ahead is reputation, build quality, customer service. That goes a long ways when you're looking at floor plans. It goes a long ways when you're looking at RVs. So your outdoor kitchens are comparable. They both have a sink. They both have a little slide out cooktop. They both have a little refrigerator. This 12 cubic foot refrigerator, like I was talking about, is definitely a plus for Grand Design. There's no way around it. That's a lot more space than I think the 8. I think it's an 8. Yeah, it's an 8 cubic foot or 9. I'm not sure. No, I'm just talking. But anyways, so we kept digging deeper, and we went and looked at both products. And we walked through the Grand Design, and it was, you know, obviously just beautiful. And then we went and walked through the Outback, and it was also beautiful. Both are very comfortable, both very nice. Both would accommodate our family just fine. Now, what we did have an option for the Grand Design is, because this Outback, this 340, is a newer floor plan. It came out 2019. So we're starting to see the 2021s roll into the lot now, which is actually what we looked at, was the 2021. But with the Grand Design, this floor plan's been around for a little bit longer, so you can get into the used market. The only difference is back here where this storage is underneath the bed. If you go a few years older, 2017, 2018, not all of them, but some of them, this bed is not quite as deep, and they have this cool little stair area with drawers in it, which is nice, but I like this a lot better. So the used one we found and looked at had the other option rather than this. It had the step option, and it made this bed very small up here, and we didn't like that at all. We definitely wanted the full depth bed, so we'd have to go newer on the reflection. So that kind of ruined the used, and we came right back to where we were at looking at new or a year old, something like that. Which I was able to find some Outback 340BH options in the used realm to save a little bit of money, and same with the reflection, and it kind of got them close to the same price. But there was more. So once you get outside, one thing Outback did is see this drop frame pass-through storage. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it actually matters. If you look underneath the trailer, the frame literally drops down, so this pass-through from here to here underneath the bed is actually deeper, whereas the Grand Design has like a little shelf right here, and then it goes up to the floor that goes across. And so that was a plus. But so we basically narrowed it down to 2 actual RVs rather than just floor plans. Now we're meat and potatoes looking at the actual RVs. And we found this 2021 Outback with 2 AC units, the 7-point auto leveling system, which is very nice, and where we came in, it's got the built-in Wi-Fi and all kinds of fun stuff, to where you could put in a AT&T card and basically have wireless internet throughout your trailer, which is pretty nice with an antenna on top. But price-wise, this won out with the options it has. Solid steps, dual ACs, auto level, good build, and nice. So it's where Grand Design just wasn't keeping up. Now they both have the 30-pound tanks. You can obviously upgrade to the steps. You can do all these things with upgrades, but it just starts adding on to that price. And we couldn't find much more benefit other than that. So where we went, and what we've decided upon that we're going to try to work a deal on, is the Keystone Outback. They're beautiful. I can't stress it enough. Just a beautiful rig. If we can work a deal, then this is the way we're going to go. If we can't, then we might go back to the Grand Design, because we don't hate it. There's nothing wrong with the Grand Design. This one just has more of what we need for a little bit better money, and I think we'll be happy with it. So that's about that. If you have any other questions for me, let me know. But obviously, if we get this purchased, you'll see a video pop up of a nice little tour of it. And if there's any other questions I can answer, just let me know. Throw them down in the comments, and I'm happy to play along and let you know the way we think and what we're looking for. I know I've left out a ton. I haven't gone over absolutely everything on my decision making, but I will tell you one thing that was a massive deciding factor, and gentlemen, you'll understand this one. When we were looking at them and standing in them, my wife said, "I like this one," and I'm glad my brain was there, because that's how it works. She wants this one, so here's the choice, boys, and I love it, and I'm pretty excited. So anyways, I'm out. We'll talk soon. Have a good day.